What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Uptempo Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Lane, and tonight I'm here with my co-host, Dalton Garrett, and we're here to break down some college baseball. We're here to talk about the 16 host sites that's coming up this weekend. And DG, man, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Just getting ready for some baseball, getting ready for some hockey.
I heard that, man.
Ready to get after and talk a little college baseball.
Yeah, man, that hockey game, that's going to be a good one tonight. Who is it, Edmonton and the Avs?
Yeah, Edmonton in Colorado.
Yeah. Who you got in that one real quick?
Tonight I got Colorado, man. Game 1 at home. I think they've had a little bit more time off. I mean, they won their series in 5.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a really good series. But I like Colorado tonight.
Love that, man. Well, DG, first thing I want to ask you, man, diving right in here to some college baseball, I want to ask you, are you taking Tennessee, the number 1 overall seed, or are you going to take the field?
Man, as hard and as rare as it is to be the best team in baseball all season and then actually make a run and win in Omaha, I don't think it's happened since like 2000. Miami was the last one to do it. Man, Tennessee just is like, a lot of people say, like, baseball, you got to get hot at the right time, but Tennessee's been hot since day one. You were talking about a little while ago, man, I saw a stat the other day during the SEC Championship game where they've got just as many home runs as they have earned runs given up. It's like, man, a lot of people know them because, oh, man, they pimp home runs, they wear the daddy hat or the coat, and it's like, yeah, they do, but their highest ERA out of their top 4 starters is 2.61. As a freshman. So you're going out and you're scoring 14, 15 runs a game, but you're only giving up 2, 3. Yeah. Sure, it's great. It shows they can win either way. If somebody like Georgia Tech's coming in there, Georgia Tech hits home runs too. So it could be a high scoring. If they play, it could be a high scoring game. And it's like, okay, Tennessee, let's get it. We can do the same thing. If a team comes in and has got a good 1-2-3 punch in their rotation, and they're going to try to go, pitchers duels. Tennessee's all right. We can match you there too. We got 4 of them, and a guy that can come out of the bullpen and throw 105. I think their regional match. I think it's other than Georgia Tech. I think it's exactly what they needed. Obviously you're going to reward the best team in the country with a somewhat of a weaker region, you would think.
Yeah.
But they're even though they're matched up with the 16 seed, man. I know we're going to get into that in a little while, but I think the 16 seed region might be one of the best regions. So, I think there's 3 teams just in that region that could possibly make a run. So it's like Tennessee don't have a cakewalk after round 1 or after this weekend. Whoever they match up with the Supers is not going to be just like, oh well, it's Tennessee. We're going to just show up and get our eyeballs popped out and go back home. But to answer your question, man, if someone came to me right now and was like, hey, look, you got to bet, your house. If somebody else besides Tennessee wins, you lose your house. If Tennessee wins the national championship, you keep your house. I'd take Tennessee right now, man. I just don't see a way. I mean, they've proven all year. They played in the best conference. They played the best teams week in and week out. They lost 1 series all season.
Yep.
And the thing was, it was a fluky weekend. It rained the whole weekend. It wasn't like they played bad. They scored 8 runs a game, but it was pouring down rain. So, and now they're in regionals. If they're at home, it's pouring down rain. They're not going to let them play. They're just going to say, hey, look, we're going to wait till this goes away. These games matter a little bit more. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. I remember just from last year when they played and they hosted regionals, it was packed and they weren't even as good. This year, they're the best team in the country. They got the swagger. So yeah, if I had to bet right now, I'd say Tennessee will win the national championship. I saw on DraftKings, man, they're plus 250 to win it. The next closest team is like plus 900. So I mean, they're by and far the favorites to win this thing.
Well, look, man, here's my thing. And if you're watching this, listening to this, whatever, you can call me a hater. Whatever you want to call me, I don't care. I hope they get absolutely drummed, DG. I hope that whoever beats them, whether it be in the super regional, I know that's going to be between Georgia Southern, UNC Greensboro, Texas Tech, and Notre Dame. That's a stacked regional, that 16 seed with Georgia Southern. whoever comes out of that, because I know Tennessee is going to move on from the regional, or at least they should. I hope they get slapped around. All right, and here's why. I'm all for cockiness and having fun. 18 to 22-year-olds, whatever you want to call it, man. I enjoy it, but it's the way Tennessee goes about it. And if you're going to talk the talk and walk the walk, bro, you have to be able to take it back. All right. You have to be able to receive the shit talking back. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just think that sometimes they don't receive it back very well. And they can dish it, but they can't take it. And I'm an Auburn fan. I love Auburn. I watched the series with them. We went to Knoxville. They pounded us that Friday night. We were up 4-2. We were pumped. We went to our bullpen, and they hit like 6 or 7 home runs in the next 2 innings, man. And it was like, I mean, just a fireworks show out of there. And they were bowing down at the plate and putting on the Gucci fur coat with the crown and all this, and bowing to Tony Vitello. And then the following night, Bobby Pierce hits the go-ahead home run, and he's like, hey, here you go, bat flip. All right, was he being a smartass? Absolutely, he was being a smartass. Good for you, Bobby Pierce. And the bat bounces and hits the turf, bro, and it bounces over to the dugout, and first thing they say is, oh, you're bat flipping into our dugout. All right. Bobby Pierce was not bat flipping into Tennessee's dugout. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody or anything like that. He was just saying, hey, payback's a bitch, okay? You want to act like how you act? Well, guess what? We're going to act like that, okay? And since you can talk the talk, we're right here, and we're going to do it too. And I lost all respect for the program, I guess you could say, is when Tony Vitello picked the bat up and he threw the bat back across the field, bro, into a group of kids, 18 to 22-year-olds, who were celebrating that they went on the road in game 2 to force a rubber match. They were about to beat the number 1 team in the country. They were about to go into Sunday in a winner-take-all game 3, and you want to act like that. And like I was saying earlier, man, there's a quote in Remember the Titans, one of the greatest sports movies of all time. And Julia says that attitude reflects leadership. And I think that these kids, man, they watch Tony Vitello and how he acts and how he carries himself, and they think, hey, I can act like that too. All right. I watched Jordan Beck taking at bat at the SEC tournament. There was a strike called on him that he didn't like, and he turned around and looked at the ump and made a comment. And the umpire looked at him and said, no. Like, you don't talk to me like that. Like, that's not how it works, okay? And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, bro, if I would have done that in college, my coach would have chewed my ass out, all right? Bro, I got pulled – and I played junior college, all right? I mean, I wasn't even on the D1 level, but I got pulled for laying down a base hit bunt in the 5th inning up 8-1, and I got snatched out of the game for that. And I didn't even say nothing to an umpire. And I'm just sitting here, and him coming out of the dugout earlier in the year and bumping an umpire. I think it was the third baseline guy come in, and they bumped each other. I can't really remember, but just seeing stuff like that, and your players, I think that they start thinking that they can act like that. And then the bat flips and all that, man, like, I'm cool with it. But when you are like Drew Gilbert, okay, last year the bat flip, he tossed it up. It was a walk-off. That's great, man. That's freaking awesome. Like, I'm down with that. But what he did against Florida the other day, and he just admired it and walked down the line and, oh, is it fair? Is it foul? And then once it goes fair over the fence, he tosses the bat up. And then he wants to start chirping and all that. Like it's just too much. It's too much. And we know you're good. Just play the game. Just play the game and beat people's ass on the field. And that's my thing with it, man, is just play the game and play it hard. Play it hard. And like I gave you a while ago, one of my favorite players for Auburn, man, is Brody Moore. He plays the game hard. He's an underrated shortstop in all of America, in my opinion. Is he the best hitter in the country? No. But he's going to hit you 270, 280, and he's going to play outstanding defense, and he's going to play the game freaking hard. He's a go-getter. He has gutsy at bats, and I just can't imagine Butch Thompson, the head coach at Auburn, teaching his guys that way, and I see Brody Moore. He hit a big bomb against LSU earlier in the year. There was no bat flip. It was get around the bases, stomp on home plate, and get back in the dugout, get ready to play defense. And that's my thing with Tennessee, man. And honestly, I'm not afraid to say it. That's why I hope they get pounded. That is why I hope they get absolutely embarrassed. And that's just how I feel. And if you're a Tennessee fan listening to this, that's fine. Hey, we disagree. We're cool. I still think you're probably going to win the national championship, but by God, I hope you don't. I hope you don't. And I'll tell you what, DG, I like Texas Tech out of that Georgia Southern Regional. I do. I like Texas Tech and Tennessee and Texas Tech, man. I don't know if it's your pick, but that's what I like, and I think that's must-see TV. What could you see in that Super Regional?
Shoot, man, I don't even know if Texas Tech's going to win that Super Regional, man. Like,
Ooh!
I mean, that in my opinion is the best Super Regional or the best regional. I mean, Georgia Southern's hosting. I mean, like, obviously you don't normally see a Sun Belt team hosting in the tournament. It's like, oh, hey, you know what? We're going to reward you with your first year hosting. We're going to give you Texas Tech, who's 37-20.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame, who a lot of people thought were going to host themselves. Yeah. So it's like, hey, you know what? Here you go. Have fun with this. See what y'all can do. That Texas Tech Notre Dame game is going to be a good one. Notre Dame's not really like a offensive. I mean, they got good averages. They're not going to come out and just hit bombs. Texas Tech, yeah, they hit bombs. But they also got one of the best players in the country with Jace Young. Man, yeah. I guess if from what I know, I mean, obviously I haven't seen Georgia Southern play that much because they're not on TV because they're in the Sun Belt. I watched Notre Dame play last week. I've watched them play a couple times. I've seen Texas Tech play a couple times. I've also seen Texas Tech play the last few years when it comes to the NCAA tournament. Like, they have experience. They know what it takes to win this time of year. They've been to Omaha. So, yeah, I guess I would pick them to win that region, man. I guess I can agree with you there. Texas Tech, Tennessee, man, that would be one hell of a regional or super regional.
That's a fact.
But I just, man, like I said a few minutes ago, dude, it's just like no one's matched Tennessee all season offensively, and no one's going to show up with a rotation like they've got.
Yeah.
Like, when you got four dudes that are just out there just dealing, and, all right, you know what? One of them's off today. Guess what? He's not having a good day. In the second inning, he's giving up 2 or 3 runs. All right, it's all right. We'll just bring another guy.
Yep.
Or, shoot, I mean, I guess Super Regional is not as big of a deal because it's the best 2 out of 3, so they might not have to use one of them. Or, they could use one as a middle relief guy, or they could use one, they could let one throw 4 or 5 innings, let the other one throw the last 4 or 5 innings. It's like their pitching is just so deep, man. Their lineup's so deep. Like, Drew Gilbert's their floor hitter, and he's got the least amount of home runs out of all the starters. He has 9 home runs.
Yeah.
Or, not out of all the starters, but out of their big power bats. He has the least amount of home runs. He's batting in the 4-hole. Because he puts the bat in, he drives and runs. He's batting 390. Trey Lipscomb, 21 balls, he's batting in the 2-hole. So it's like their lineup is so deep. I mean, yeah, I guess if they play Texas Tech, on paper it might be a good series. But, again, man, I just don't see Tennessee struggling. Man, this might be a Super Bowl take. I'll just go ahead and make this take. Tennessee might not lose a game the entire tournament.
Oh, my God. Oh, you don't think they lose at all?
I mean, dude, that's 3, 5. They can win 7. They go 8 games in a row to get them to the College World Series Championship Series. You have to win 8 games. They could very well win 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, it's so, right now in my mind, in just what I've seen from them, it's so hard to just say, oh, you know what, they're going to lose to Texas Tech in 1 game. Huh?
Yeah.
They could get swept. Hell, they could get beat by Alabama State on Friday. Like, you never know with baseball, but it's like from what we've seen, man. Like right now, you just couldn't tell me they're going to lose a game.
Yeah.
I'm obviously I know they're going to lose a game in baseball, but on paper they shouldn't. Like if you look at who they're going to play, it's just like, man, like I can't. I don't. They lost 7 games all season. What's going to make them lose now? Like,
yeah, you're right. Man, I'm looking at some of these. I mean, there's some underwhelming. There's some underwhelming regionals, bro. Like, I like the East Carolina regional. That looks underwhelming to me. I mean, the Louisville region, Michigan getting in, having to win the Big Ten tournament. Oregon, how good are they? You know, I'm in the Pac-12. Do you believe in the Pac-12? I don't believe in the Pac-12 in any sport. Virginia Tech's regional, bro. I mean, Gonzaga, like, I've seen on Twitter, like, people hype Gonzaga up, but, bro, like, is Gonzaga really –
who are they playing?
Yeah, well, I mean –
it's just like basketball.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a bad – like,
I don't believe in you. I don't believe you. Like, I'm sorry. It just looks underwhelming. Not something that I would want to go on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and possibly a Monday to go watch. And then I'll tell you what, bro. I want to get your sleeper, and then I'm going to give you mine. But I look on this right side of this bracket, and I see one that it's got me. All right, but give me one of your sleeper upset picks in the regional round.
So what top 16 seed I don't think makes it out?
Yeah, like what top 16 seed doesn't make it out? Is it a top 8 national seed? And who knocks them off?
So, man, I was looking at it earlier, dude. I think there could be several national, like top 16 teams not make it to supers.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Tennessee wins their regional. But, dude, I think straight into number 2 overall Stanford. Like, Texas State, man.
You read my mind.
Texas State's 45-12. Like, they've been fantastic all season. The only reason they're not hosting is because they didn't win the Sun Belt. Like, they went like 0-2 or 1-2 in their tournament last week. They're 45-12. They beat Texas 3 times. Like, and Texas is 9. Like, only reason, man, it might be tough is just Stanford does have a really good rotation. They got a good lineup. They were in Omaha last year. They know what it takes to get there. They are at home. But, man, I'm one of those people like, man, like, being at home in baseball don't matter, in my opinion. Like, I mean, some places it might just because, like, they do get rowdy. Like Tennessee, they get some couple runs in, it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
The box in Baton Rouge, they get runs, it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm a Florida fan, man. If Florida gets up a couple runs, that place doesn't get loud. Like, it's not like it's some – baseball fans just don't get into games like they do for other sports, especially if the stadium – I mean, like, the stadium's not built, you know, like where it's right on top of each other. They can't get loud. But, yeah, man, like, I'm not saying Stanford loses, but, like, UC Santa Barbara, they're not bad either. They're the 3 seed. They're 43-12. Like, you win 43 ball games and you're the 3 seed in a region, like, that's insane. And then, dude, so that's the 2 seed. I go straight back down to the number 3 overall seed, Oregon State. Guess who they get? They get greeted by the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Vanderbilt's not great this year. Maybe they had a bad season. They did lose 2 of the best pitchers probably they've ever seen at that school. They are still really good. They have Enrique Bradfield, one of the best players in the country. Their shortstop, Carter Young, was a projected first-round pick, struggled all season, but he's kind of gotten hot here lately. Their biggest thing is they don't have the pitching line they normally have. They're young in their rotation, but they do have guys that they're a Vanderbilt for a reason, man. Like, they got talent. So what's to say they don't catch fire this weekend? Oh, see it, deuces, Oregon State. And then – another regional that I think is – this might be, in my opinion, the most loaded regional is Oklahoma State's regional. Oklahoma State is the 7 overall seed, and they drew Arkansas and Grand Canyon. And Grand Canyon obviously Grand Canyon. No, they can play.
Yeah, they
And
can.
then Arkansas went 18-12 in SEC, and they're not hosting, like
Mm-hmm.
because they had a bad week at Hoover. They went 0-2, sent
Yep.
home. And they're really, and what's crazy is, man, like this year, a lot of people thought their offense was going to carry them, and their offense has not been that good. Like Robert Moore was a stud last year for him, play second base, and this year he struggled. He's been like 220. Like hadn't been a good year. It's still Arkansas. They know what it takes to get there.
It's a fact.
But as far as a sleeper, like who can make a run just based off like who they're matched up against and what regional they're matched up with after that if they were to win the region. Man, I'm gonna take as my sleeper, and I don't really know if you consider them a sleeper just because they're a national powerhouse in baseball, but give me LSU, man. I think LSU, that Southern Miss regional is not strong outside of Southern Miss, really. Southern Miss does have a hell of a 1-2-3 rotation. Like their 1 and 2 guys just got invited to play for USA for summer, so like they're stacked. But LSU's lineup, man, is insane. You have the SEC Player of the Year or co-SEC Player of the Year with Dylan Cruz, or is that name Dylan Cruz?
Yeah.
Then you got Jacob Berry, who didn't play last week. You have Trey Morgan. You have Cade Dowdy. And it's LSU, man. They know how to get it done in this time of season. So, give me LSU out of that region, out of the Hattiesburg Regional, and then that regional matches up with Miami. I don't think Miami's that good. They are the 6th overall seed, man, but Florida, we took them to the woodshed at the end of the season. I know baseball changes a lot in 3 months, but, their regional is terrible, too. They got some Kinesis, not good. Ole Miss, no clue how they got in. And then Arizona's not as good as they have been in the past. Now, it would be super dope if somehow LSU won and then Arizona matched up, and then
that would be sick, bro.
Because the coach just dipped on Arizona last year, and he took his best player with him. But I think LSU is my one. I think the team. Like I said, I like Texas State possibly or Arkansas or Vanderbilt. But if you told me to take a team that's not a host to win a region and maybe make a run to Omaha, I'm going to take LSU. I don't know if you consider that a sleeper, but
no, I mean they're a sleeper. I mean they're in my book they're a sleeper. Man, you took the words right out of my mouth with Texas State. Man,
the right side of the bracket is loaded.
Loaded. I'm kind of speechless because I want to say this, I want to say it, and I know people might clap back or whatever and say, "Oh, you're crazy." But man, I like Georgia over North Carolina. All right. I like Georgia over North Carolina. I do. Something there is telling me to take Georgia. And then we talked about the Texas State and Stanford. Obviously LSU, that one was on the radar. Like you said, they know how to win. And then, man, and also, like you said, Vanderbilt and Oregon State. I don't know who to choose. Like I said, my one sleeper, I think that really nobody's looking at is Georgia at North Carolina. That Georgia played the hot Alabama team right there in the SEC tournament. Alabama was trying to sneak into the NCAAs, and look, the SEC tournament was a weird weekend, man. It was just weird. The rain, the weather, they changed the bracket, single elimination, double elimination, and all that, this year, and it was just a weird weekend. But I like Georgia. All right. I like any team in the SEC, man, that has a damn good year. All right. And that's why, Arkansas at Oklahoma State, the right side of the bracket is absolutely loaded. And I look over here at the left side, bro, and I'm kind of speechless because I mean, that Georgia Southern sticks out. The Georgia Southern regional sticks out, but that's really the only one on the left side. Like, I mean, Florida, Central Michigan, Liberty, and Oklahoma. That's going to be. I mean, that should be a damn good regional. But yeah, man. I mean, that right side, there's just sleepers for days. I don't like you said. I don't know if we're going to call Vanderbilt or anything like that a sleeper or LSU, but I mean, uh, you know what my thing is with Vandy, DG? Are they really? Is Vandy really that bad this year, or are they're just not up to the standards of what we're used to seeing? Right?
Yeah, I mean
They're really not that bad.
yeah, I mean you had the number 2 pick and the number 10 pick as your pitchers last year. Like
Yeah. So like, I see all these people and they're like, "Oh man, Vandy sucks this year," and I'm like, "No, they don't suck." And I'm like, they're not what we're accustomed to seeing. They're not,
they're not Vanderbilt.
They're not an automatic ticket to Omaha this year. Okay, for the first time, they're not an automatic lock for Omaha, Nebraska, and I think that's where people get it twisted. I think they could go up to Oregon State, and I think they could win that regional. And like you said, man, LSU, they. Mm, mm, mm. Am I being SEC homer? Am I being SEC homer? Because
I don't know if I don't know if it's really a homer, but it's just like for whatever reasons, college baseball is not on TV all year. Like we live down here, we always see SEC games, so it's like we know what these teams can do. Like we know LSU can play. We know what Vanderbilt can do when they're playing well. We know what Arkansas can do when they're playing well. Like unless you were locked into all the conference tournaments last week, man. Like I don't know what Oklahoma State does. Like I know they won I know they the Big 12 was loaded this year, and they won some big series, but they also lost some big series. And then like you look up and you see like Maryland. Like Maryland's 45-12. Yeah, fine and dandy, they're the 15th overall seed, but like I don't know nothing about Maryland, man. Like the Big Ten sucks. Like they don't worry about. Look, if you notice, all the other Big Ten schools that are good at all the other sports aren't good at baseball. What is Maryland good at? Nothing. They got to be good at baseball. So like they're good at baseball and lacrosse, like the white people sports, and then like that's what they dominate.
I mean,
that's probably the worst. That's probably the worst regional on the right side, and I think Wake Forest is going to win that one anyways.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
We might see. There's a possibility, man, that every 2 seed on the right side could win their region.
That's a fact. I mean, before I get to the Auburn regional, I want you to talk about Florida a little bit and their regional, and them playing themselves into a host site with the SEC tournament. They got Central Michigan, Liberty, Oklahoma. Man, how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, man. So a couple weeks ago, probably 6 weeks ago, Florida was sitting at 6-12 in SEC. Mm-hmm. People were talking about them missing the tournament, or being a bubble team.
Yep.
Had just lost their ace for the season, Tommy John, and then it wasn't a bad 6-12. Like we were in games, we just couldn't finish games, or we'd get down 4-0 early and we just could never, get over the hump. I know there's a stat for a while, like after the 5th inning, if Florida was losing after the 5th inning, they were like 0-19 for like a while, or like 0-12 or something wild stat. But our SEC schedule was very top heavy. Like the very beginning of the season was super loaded, and then it kind of died off at the end. Like we went Mississippi State, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina to finish the season. And ultimately ended up going 15-15 in the SEC. So I mean, they went 9-3 in their last 4 weekends, won all 4 series, then went to Hoover, won their first game against South Carolina in a walk-off, then got blown out by A&M, got 1 hit. And then I don't know if Sully said something to him that night or what happened, but the next day is like the wheels turned. They turned the light switch on and they started banging the baseball the rest of the week. Scored, I think it's 7 runs against Arkansas. Scored 11 or 12 against Alabama. Scored 9 against A&M. Played well and hit the ball well against Tennessee. Just didn't have the big hits when they needed them like Tennessee did. And so I think they're like 16-5 or 17-5 in their last 21 or 22 games. So they're coming in hot, man. Like Florida's doing, they're right. They're your prototypical. Hey, they're getting hot at the right time. Like they're that cliche you always hear about baseball. Hey, get hot at the right time. Well, they got hot at the right time. Brandon Sproat now is the ace Friday night guy. He's been lights out his last 2-3 starts. Brandon Neely's are two guys, a freshman. Didn't pitch great last week against Texas A&M. Didn't pitch terrible. Kind of, had a couple, 0-2 counts. He left the ball up, and they put the bat on the ball and hit a home run or a couple doubles, but not a bad start. Just not what the 2 weeks prior he won Co-SEC Freshman of the Week. So it was like, you can only go down from there really. So Florida's 1-2 punch right now out of the the start rotation is not bad. It's pretty good. The lineup is killing the ball right now. I mean, Wyatt Langford's batting .370, leads SEC in home runs. Somehow was not first team All SEC, was second team somehow. Mm-hmm. Sterling Thompson batting .355, .370, somewhere in there. He struggled in Hoover, but great hitter. Then you got the all first team SEC catcher, BT Ryapel, batting like .315, 15, 16 home run. Took Ben Joyce yard the other day. Then we got a freshman batting in the 4-hole. His name's Ty Evans. He's kind of came on lately. And they bumped Judd Fabian back to the 5-hole. I don't know if it was more because you're struggling or just kind of give him some cover. Just kind of like, now you're putting him an opportunity to drive in runs, but also not hitting the ball great, bumping back a little bit. We had another freshman that came out of nowhere. His name is Jack Caglione. He came in as a pitcher and had Tommy John like back in August. So like they were playing on red shirt. And even a couple weeks ago, apparently they weren't hitting the ball well, and this kid's massive. And Sullivan was like, "Hey, you want to take some BP swings?" And dude just apparently put on a show at practice. It's been starting ever since. And they batted like 500 last weekend in Hoover. Made first team, made the all-tournament teams. Been playing well. So the lineup, man, doing really well. Josh Revere's hitting the ball good. Colby Halter was batting 500 for the first like 3 months of the season and went like a 0-for-55 slump or something crazy like that. And batting like 240 now, but he's in the 9-hole. Like Duke can rake. He's not a bad hitter. He's just had a bad slump. So I mean, the lineup's doing what they need to be doing right now. Perfect time to get hot. But I think I've seen a lot of people say that's probably one of the most loaded regions. Central Michigan just won their conference championship tournament. Oklahoma won their conference championship tournament, and Liberty beat us 2-3 first week of the season. I saw something today on Twitter that Central Michigan's ace is like a stud. There's like 100. I don't know. Can't remember what his name is, but apparently he was like national freshman of the year last year. He's a preseason first team All-American. So I'm curious to see what Florida does. Somebody was asking one of the big-time Florida guys, Nick Del Torre, earlier on Twitter, that he think Florida would start Brandon Sproat game one or if they'd go with Brandon Neely. And he said, Florida's been known to start their ace or start their two-guy game one and then have their ace for the second game. But he's like, just because of how good Central Michigan's pitching is, like, it might be a 2-run ball game. So it's like, you'd rather run you should, at this point in the season, you should trust that your two guys are going to be able to beat anybody else's two guy. And obviously, Oklahoma and Liberty are going to go their aces against each other. So he was saying, Sproat will probably go Friday, and then obviously you plan on, you hope to win that game, and then you only got to win 2 more. So offensively, man, I think Florida's right where they want to be. None of the other teams. Liberty's a decent offense team. But Oklahoma, I saw earlier, they only have like 52 home runs as a team on the season. Obviously, they don't mean nothing when they, hit for average. But, let's see. Yeah, they don't have but 54 home runs as a team. And they have a couple guys. They have 3 dudes hitting over 300. So, I think they got hot at the right time. They are hot, too. That's the problem. Like, Florida's not just – they're probably the better team out of all 4, but it's like you're playing 2 teams that are also hot. And a team that's got to – that's hard to beat you. They know they can beat you. So it's like you come in with confidence already. But it's always, it's obviously you're probably the same way as me. It's hard to pick against your team. So I think Florida's going to win their region, just because I think they've kind of figured something out. They've gotten hot at the end of the season like they're supposed to. So I like Florida. I'm not saying they're going to go in and go 3-0 and they're sitting pretty. They might have to, play an extra game Sunday or an extra game Saturday or Monday, but. I think just when we're the first two, 1 and 2 guys, the rotation in the lineup right now, I like Florida to have a good weekend.
Yeah, man, and I know you're a big Florida fan, and myself, I'm a big Auburn fan, and I look at Auburn's region, and they got Southeastern Louisiana, Florida State, and UCLA. Florida State and UCLA, two prominent, rich, historic programs in college baseball history, and they're kicking it off Friday in the Auburn region. Florida State and UCLA, man. They say the pitching duel is going to be 1-C, and we saw the other night UCLA and Oregon State. I don't know what that was, but it was like 25-22. So they keep telling me, hey, UCLA can pitch, they can pitch, but I went and looked at their Pac-12 tournament games, bro, and it was like 12-9. 9-8, and I'm like, you're telling me they can pitch, but they ran a 25-22 slugfest with Oregon. So
like softball game.
I don't know. Can they pitch or I mean, their stud. He's just north of a 3 ERA. I think he's like 3.06 or 08 or something like that. He's 8-4 on the year and with 91 Ks. And what's up, buddy? And so they were 38-22, 19-11 in the Pac-12, and they got big wins over Oklahoma and Texas. So I don't really know what to think about UCLA, man, because they got the 2 seed, and you're looking down here at Florida State, and they're 33-23. They went 15-15 in the ACC, and they got a series dub over Cal. They got a win over Florida. They got a win over Georgia Southern, and then they took 2 from TCU. So I know they got a guy, Parker Messick. He went 6-5 on the year, 3.36 ERA.
He's stud.
Yeah, 90. He pitched 93 innings and struck out 140 people, bro. So that's take that for what you want. And then their next guy, man, they got Bryce Hubbard. He went 8-2 on the year with a 3.18 ERA, and he threw 73 innings and struck out 94 people. So the thing about Florida State, man, is they're not really going to shock you offensively. They're not going to hit a lot of home runs or whatever, and I think that's the same way with UCLA. Is they're not going to really shock you offensively. So they're both looking at the pitching matchups, right? But my thing with Auburn, man, is you're not shocking me offensively lately either. You come into Hoover and you got beat by a team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament, and you played them the week before up in Lexington, Kentucky, and they took 2 out of 3 from you. You played like absolute dog shit, and you're just not hitting the baseball right now. And honestly, the big thing that we thought from Auburn this year would be their pitching. That's what we were most concerned about. And now what we're most concerned about is hitting. Like, we haven't been hitting the baseball. We've been relying on one man the past 2 weekends. We've been relying on one man, Sonny DeShera. And DG, he doesn't get to hit a lot because people are walking him, all right? And they're not even throwing anything competitive towards him, all right? Nothing. It's slider away, change up in the dirt, slider away. And you saw what he did when they challenged him in the Kentucky game, that threw a fastball underneath his hands and he hit it 450 feet. So I just feel like we did a lineup change, bro, and we dropped Blake Rambush, one of the best leadoff hitters in the entire country. We dropped him to the 3-hole, and we bumped Sonny D up to the 2-hole, and we moved Brody Moore to lead off. And I just kind of think it kind of messed with a little rhythm a little confidence. And I know what Butch Thompson was thinking, and Gabe and Huddy and all those dudes were thinking in that clubhouse. Is they're sitting there thinking, hey, we need to put a contact guy that can also drive the baseball behind Sonny DeShera. So what do? We drop Blake Rambush. He can hit for power. He can hit gap to gap, and he doesn't strike out a whole lot, right? So they do it, and it's kind of like the offense just kind of halted, bro. And then you dropped Case and Howell out of the 2 hole down to like the 7 hole, 6 hole, 7 hole, and it just, I don't know, man. It wasn't meshing. Auburn stopped scoring runs. They stopped hitting with 2 outs. They're striking out more. Nate LaRue, I don't know what has happened to Nate LaRue, man. He just isn't seeing the ball well at all. I don't know. Cole Foster got hurt in the Alabama series. He hasn't played since. And our backup second baseman, Garrett Farquhar, he comes in, and he's the only guy hitting right now. And I say, look, Sonny DeShera hit the bomb against Kentucky, and that was Auburn's only run. But he's like 3 for 25 in his last, when he has gotten to swing the bat, and he's chasing stuff. I don't know if it's 3 for 25, but it's like 3 for 20 or 3 for 21, something like that, bro. Yeah. It's bad. But he's getting aggravated and chasing stuff, not swinging at good pitches because he's tired of getting walked. But the one guy who is hitting the ball solid is Garrett Farquhar, and he's played really good defense. So what I think Auburn needs to do, I'm not the coach of the Auburn Tigers, but I've watched Mason Land out in left field, who they put in after Brooks Carlson had the little in the Arkansas series out there in left field. He kind of looked at Case and Howell. Are you going to catch it? Am I going to catch it? Nobody's going to catch it, right? So I think they need to move Mason Land out of left field, and I think they need to reinsert Brooks Carlson back out there, and they need to put Blake Rambush back in the leadoff spot, put Case and Howell back in the 2 hole, Sonny D back in the 3, Bobby Pierce in the 4. Even though Bobby Pierce strikes out a lot, he still can hit the ball a mile, and he's been tearing the ball. I mean, he's been tearing the cover off the ball from gap to gap. And I think that, you need to have Brooks behind Bobby in the 5, and then you go from there, man. You go from there. But this DH thing with Brooks Carlson, all right, we got to put Brooks Carlson on the field, and I would like to see Cole Foster, if he cannot come back and play defense, I would like to see Cole Foster in the DH slot. Is he going to hit for power? No. But he's going to hit. He's going to hit 250, 260, and he's not going to strike out, bro. Like, honestly, that's what gets me is I just feel like in the, Mason Land, he's been striking out a lot, and there just hasn't been a whole lot of offensive production. So why take Garrett Farquhar out of the lineup? That's my thing with Auburn, bro. And I feel like that's why they have regressed on the offensive end, and they've been really relying on pitchers, relief pitchers to go long. They've been relying on, Hayden Mullins had Tommy John, so now Mason Barnett steps into that Friday night role. I don't know what they're going to do in game 1 against Southeastern Louisiana, bro, because Southeastern Louisiana has beaten Arkansas, Ole Miss, they beat Troy, and they won a series against Tennessee Tech this year. All right. So I don't know what they're going to do Friday. I don't know if they're going to do what they did in the SEC tournament with bringing out Carson Skipper, the middle relief guy, lefty, number 29, throws a tight slider and can bump it up there, fastball, nice velocity there. But I don't know what they're going to do, man. I feel like Mason Barnett should get the ball. He's looked really good past couple starts. I know Kentucky, he did get touched up a little bit, but I don't think that was all his fault. It was just Auburn just didn't hit, bro. They just didn't hit against Kentucky when they played him up in Lexington. So your starter gives up 3 runs, but you didn't hit. So, of course, people are going to be like, oh, well, he gave up 3 runs. You didn't hit. All right. 3 runs ain't shit, bro. Like, you didn't hit.
No.
So I'm kind of nervous about this Auburn regional, man. I'm nervous. I just don't know. Like I said on an episode previous, I didn't think they deserved to host, and I was shocked that they got the 14 seed. I was shocked. I just didn't think they deserved to host, and now they're matched up with Oregon State. If they do come out, they got to go to Oregon State. They'll have to go to Corvallis and play them in the Super Regional. That's a long way. I will not be making that trip if they do. But if they do get to Omaha, DG, I will be there. So.
No, you won't.
Huh?
No, you won't.
Why?
Same weekend we'll be in Atlanta, bro.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. So I guess I won't, but my dad will.
Yeah, Omaha starts June 17th.
Oh.
It runs through the 27th if you get to the championship. So, I mean, they could be eliminated by then, but, like,
yeah,
we're leaving on the 23rd, but that's a long trip for 2 games to come right back home.
Yeah. But, hey, I can't wait for that Atlanta trip. I mean, we get to see Jock Peterson.
Are we going on the Friday night for sure?
We'll talk about that as soon as we hop off here. I got a little situation. We're probably gonna go. But yeah, man. Recapping all this, Florida, Auburn, SEC, man. Just run through the bracket, man. And before we get off of here, I know we got some hockey to watch. And give me your picks. Who's moving on to the Supers? I want to hear it from you first.
All right, so starting in Tennessee's bracket or Tennessee's region, obviously I'm going to go with Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Then the Georgia Southern Regional, I'm going to go with Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Texas Longhorns region. I think Dallas Baptist can make a run in that region. Dallas Baptist was ranked up like all the way up to like 15th earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. Kind of got cold towards the end. I'm gonna take Texas just because it's at home. I think Texas just being at home helps. You have the best player in the country on your team. That also helps. So give me Texas in that one. The next one, this is gonna be my first upset. I like Eastern Carolina. I like East Carolina a lot. I think they're a really good ball club. But I think Virginia wins that region. Virginia's a team you see all the time, man. When it comes time to, they'd be a 4 seed and they'll win somebody's regional. But they're 2 seeds. They're obviously not a bad team, 38-17. So give me that one as my first upset, first non-host team to win a region. Next go down to the College Station region. This is gonna be a fun one, man, because Jim Schwarzenegger left TCU to go to Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And more than likely they'll match up game 2 of that region. Man, I watched Texas A&M twice last week, man. I wasn't impressed, to be honest with you. I know they beat us 10-0, and then the next day we beat them 9-0. So it's like it's kind of tough to see, man. But their lineup outside of like 2 or 3 guys isn't to me that good. Like, I don't. Obviously, we probably didn't see their ace or their 2 guys. I don't know how good their pitching is, but I don't know. Like for a team who came into the season like as someone no one expected to even make, like they didn't make a tournament like the SEC tournament last year. So for them to jump all up to a 5 seed, maybe they just had a good season. Maybe it's fluky. I mean, I don't know. So let's go to my next upset. Give me TCU in that one. I think TCU.
Wow.
They're going to have players, obviously, man, that, played for Schwarzenegger last year. It's kind of maybe as a disrespect type thing. Like, man, he didn't think we're good enough here. He left, to take over another team. It wasn't like, he went to a powerhouse. He went to Texas A&M. It wasn't like he left to go to Vanderbilt or he left to go to Florida or left to go to Texas or left to go to LSU. Like, went to Texas A&M. Like, not a school that's, known for powerhouse baseball programs. So, TCU can take that as a slight. I mean, because TCU's had some studs the last few years. So give me TCU in that region as an upset. Next region, you got the Louisville one. Be real honest with you, man. I don't know jack about any of these teams. So I'm just going to take Louisville just because they are the one. They're the host team. So give me Louisville in that one. Then it goes down to the Florida region, man. I think, like I said, it's going to be a tough weekend for Florida. I don't think it's just going to be a walk-in, win 3 games, go home type weekend. I think they could win 3 games and go home, but it's not going to be a 10-0, 10-0, 10-0 type weekend. I don't think. this is the homer in me. I'm going to take Florida on that one. They could very well get beat 2 games going. I mean, there's no telling. But I like where they're at right now. The next one, I think, is another just absolute trash region.
Yeah.
Don't really know much about any of the teams, so I'm going to take Virginia Tech just because they are the hosts. They're 41-12. They're 4th in the country for a reason. So give me Virginia Tech in that one. To get over to the right side of the bracket, here's where the upsets get wild, man. Stanford, number 2 overall seed, eliminated in the region. I think Texas State goes to Stanford, shocks the world, wins the region. They're like, you know what, we should have been hosting. Not only should we have been hosting, you also shouldn't have tried to screw us over by putting us in the number 2 team in the country's region. We should have got stuck somewhere like, the 8 or 9 seeds place, but instead you sent us here. I'm gonna, make a case for why we should have hosted. I like Texas State in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next region, same thing, man. Wake Forest goes to Maryland. I think Wake Forest can hit the baseball better than just about any team in the country. They were another team that was on the cusp of hosting.
Yep.
You might know this answer. So if Wake Forest was to win and Texas State was to win, and they're both 2 seeds, how do they decide who hosts?
I think it is whoever has the better conference record.
Okay.
That's how they do it.
Okay, I didn't know if it might have something to do with like who they beat. Like, they beat the number 2 seed, they only beat the number 14 seed, or
I'm not sure, man. I'm not totally sure.
Okay, all right. So, anyways, I got 2 seeds playing there. Texas State, Wake Forest meet up. The next one, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know you took Georgia earlier. I don't think Georgia's that good, man. I watched Georgia play Florida this year. They did sweep us, but they weren't. I wasn't impressed. They do have a stud pitcher, Jonathan Cannon, but VCU's not bad either, so they're probably going to have to use him game 1. So North Carolina's coming off of a good run in the ACC tournament. It's kind of crazy they're hosting. They're the 8 seed in the ACC tournament, and now they're hosting. And then you got teams like Notre Dame who are like 4th in the ACC and aren't hosting. But North Carolina caught hot, caught fire at the right time, man. So give me North Carolina on that one. Then we go down to the next one. You got Oklahoma State, Missouri State, Grand Canyon, and Arkansas. I think this is going to be a series or a regional that could go all the way to the Monday game 7. I like Arkansas a lot, man, but I just don't think their offense has been good enough this year. And Oklahoma State has a really good offense. So as much as I like to see SEC teams do well, I'm going to take Oklahoma State here. So you got Oklahoma State matching up with North Carolina in the Supers. Then you go down to the next one. Miami, again, I'm not a believer in Miami as a 6th overall seed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about Arizona, and you might call me crazy because they probably shouldn't even be in a tournament. But they were number 1 in the country for 5 weeks in a row for a reason. You don't just become number 1 in the country. So I'm going to take Ole Miss in this region, man. I think Ole Miss shows up with a lot of disrespect from the national media. A lot of people saying, man, they shouldn't even be in a tournament. And they struggled, for the most part of the SEC season. They went 0-1 in Hoover and still snuck in. Had a lower RPI than some of the teams that, had better seasons than them and didn't get in. A lot of people were really pissed that Ole Miss made it. I think they kind of come out with a chip on their shoulder, make a little run. So give me Ole Miss now. Maybe it's a crazy pick, but, sometimes you got to be crazy in baseball. Then go down to the next one. Southern Miss, like I said, Southern Miss earlier, Southern Miss is a really good team. They got 2 guys with Tanner Allen. I know is one of the guys' names. Or not Tanner Allen, Tanner Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the other guy's name, but they got 2 guys that are studs on the mound. They have a good lineup. 2 Faith Academy boys actually are in their starting lineup. But again, LSU's lineup is just as dirty. I just don't. Only reason I can see Southern Miss winning is because of their rotation. God, that's a tough one. That might be one of the harder ones, like LSU, Southern Miss. Either way, man, it's gonna be fun. Think about it, man. Ole Miss sitting there waiting on either one of them. You get Ole Miss, Southern Miss in the Super Regional would be exciting. LSU, Ole Miss would be insane.
Yeah.
I took LSU as my sleeper team, so it's like I kind of got to take them in the region. So I guess I'll take LSU there. Give me LSU, Ole Miss in the Super Regional at Alex Box Stadium 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun trip to make, man. That's not a far drive, dude. Like, that'd be a fun trip to take.
3 hours, man.
Yeah, like I'd be so down. Because there's no chance unless something crazy happens. There's no chance Florida's gonna be playing close. I'm not driving to freaking Blacksburg, Virginia.
Hey, I just looked it up. the two teams bid on it to the NCAA. If they're not,
Oh,
if they're both not national seeds, they both put a bid in to
okay.
host. Yeah,
So I would assume Wake Forest would probably get it. I'm sure their facility is probably a little better than Texas State's. But
yeah,
yeah. So like I said, give me LSU in the Hattiesburg region. I think that's gonna be a hell of a series. Them and Southern Miss will be a great games. And then we get down to your Auburn Tigers, and
yeah,
man, I've seen Florida State play 3 times against Florida. Obviously, every time I saw them play, it was midweek, and they obviously don't throw their best guys midweek. But I just don't. Excuse me, I just don't like their lineup, man. I think they got 2 really good pitchers, but Auburn's a team that, like we've seen all season, they can be hot at the plate. Like they can have games where they're just smoking the ball. I think maybe going to Hoover and underperforming and getting beat out game 1 and not having to be there all week with the crazy weather and basically having 2 weeks off.
yeah.
I think that's going to help Auburn. Give me Auburn that week in that region. And then Oregon State region. I know I said I think Vanderbilt can make a run, but I don't know their pitching depth is deep enough this year to do that. I think they have some really good ball players that could make a run. But Oregon State's also really good too. Oregon State's got a good 1-2 punch out of their rotation. That's a long trip, man. Nashville to Corvallis. That's a long ways. It's gonna be. I'm ready to see if the Whistler makes it over there. But
Man, damn. There's 2 of them now.
Yeah, so
2 of them.
Give me Oregon State. So I think the Auburn Tigers have to travel to Corvallis. So yeah, I think that's. So what I picked, I think I picked maybe 4 or 5 upsets. So like I said, man, it's baseball. You never know. So that's my picks. We'll have to revisit this after this weekend and then discuss next week on our super regional breakdown.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get after it on that. I'm gonna throw out. I like Tennessee in that regional. I like I said earlier, Texas Tech in that Georgia Southern regional, and then the Texas regional. I like Texas. I'm gonna take them there at home, and then in the Eastern East Carolina regional, I'm gonna take East Carolina. I know you took Virginia. I like East Carolina to get it done there. Texas A&M regional, I like Texas A&M. No upsets just yet. Louisville regional, I like Louisville. Florida regional, I like Florida and Oklahoma. And give me Florida. All right. No upsets yet. Virginia Tech and Gonzaga, I like Virginia Tech. All right. No upsets on the left side. Now, to the right side, DG, we got some upsets, buddy. Stanford and Texas State. I'm rolling with you, dog. I like Texas State. I think the number 2 national seed don't make it out of the regionals. I like Texas State. They're cocky. They play with confidence, swagger. They can freaking hit, bro. They can hit. Maryland and Wake Forest, I'm with you, DG. I like Wake Forest. Like you said, they can hit, bro. And I'm not sold on Maryland. And I made a little comment the other day on Twitter. Dude got on there and was like, oh, what do you know about Maryland? Nothing. I don't know anything. Maryland, actually, like, I know one thing. You're not good at baseball. I can tell you that. All right. I don't believe in you. Sorry. Hate it. Prove it to me. Prove it to me, baby. Prove it to me. And then the North Carolina regional. Hey, guess what, DG? Another upset. Give me them dogs, brother. Give me them dogs. All right. Grown ass men barking at each other. All right. Georgia. Georgia fans, grow up, dog. Stop barking at each other. Stop painting your face and spitting on people and barking at each other. It's super weird. But Oklahoma State, like you said, man, Arkansas just don't have the offense this year. I like Oklahoma State at home. Miami region, like you said, bro. I don't know about Miami. Do I think they win the region? Yes. Would I be shocked if your pick Ole Miss wins the region? No, I wouldn't be. Would I be shocked if Arizona comes out of this pitch? I wouldn't be. All right, because Miami is just. I don't know. They're a mystery to me. They're a mystery. But I'm going on my bracket. I'm going to take Miami. And then this next regional, Southern Miss, Army. All right. Thank y'all for your service. Really appreciate it. Kennesaw State, LSU. I'm rolling with you, dog. I like LSU. I think they're playing really good baseball right now. One of the best players in the country, co-SEC Player of the Year. Give me LSU in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and you know LSU is going to pack that bitch out, son. They are going to be downright pure drunk. Southern Miss fans are going to like, what in the hell is going on? LSU fans are going to be rowdy.
Yeah.
Auburn, give me Auburn.
There you go, baby.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I don't man.
Auburn, move on to the next one, baby. You ain't
They better show up. They better show up because if they hit like they did the past 2-3 weeks, their ass is grass, DG. Oregon State, New Mexico State, San Diego, and Vanderbilt. Like you said, man, long trip. Vandy just the pitching has been off. Hitting. If Bradfield doesn't go, they don't go.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Long trip, chasing time zones and everything like that, man. Give me Oregon State. So that rounds it out. Next week, I know we're going to hop on here. We're going to do a super regional. We'll recap the regionals, all the baseball that we're going to watch this weekend. And, man, I can't wait. I think it's going to be exciting. I know you're going to watch your Florida Gators. I'm going to watch my Auburn Tigers. And I know we're both about to go watch some damn hockey.
That's a fact, baby. It's 2-1 Colorado already.
Oh, well. All right, man. Well, we'll hop off here. And I appreciate you joining me. And I know it's been a while, but hopefully next week we can do this recap and preview of the Supers. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to get back into it, doing more because now that we're out of school, man, I'm a little more free. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, we'll talk. I know. Well, hey, I say that. I know we'll talk here shortly, but we'll talk back on this podcast next week, DG.
Yeah, man. Sounds good, buddy.
All right, bro.